is visible. So my continuous session now. Please send me one message through chat box. I continue my session now. My continue my session. Please respond through anyone chat box. Is it my voice is audible to everyone or not? Yeah, thank you. Okay, now I try to start my session. Okay, in the last class, we are discussing about the schema refinement. What is a schema refinement and what are the problems occurred in the case of schema refinement and how we are eliminating that. I'm right. So first of all, what is a schema refinement? Schema refinement is nothing but to refining the schema. Schema means nothing but a database. We also know about this. In the last class also we are discussing about this. So when we are performing the schema refinement, then most of the chance occurring the problem is redundant data. Okay, so the type of redundant data will be creates a lot of problems in the database. So what are they? So those are referred as anomalies. So those are three types of anomalies there: updation anomalies, insertion anomalies, deletion anomalies. So that means we are not able to update the records in the proper way. In the same way, we are not able to insert the records in the proper way, and we are not able to delete our required records. So that means if we want to delete one record, then automatically delete remaining records. Why? Because so those are duplicated. For example, if the same number is assigned for to the more than one student, if we want to delete one particular student, then automatically deletes the another student details also. So that's why we need to maintain unique records, and we are not allowing the duplicate records. Am I right or not? So how we can eliminating these type of problems by using normalization technique. So we already discussed about what is a normalization. So normalization is a process of breaking the larger table into the smaller tables. Am I right or not? Okay. So that means in the case of normalization, here we are using different types of normal forms. Those are used to reducing the occurrence of the redundant data in the database. Okay. So how we are eliminating the redundant data? So here we are performing the decomposition. So decomposition means nothing but break down the larger table into the number of smaller tables. Okay, then we are able to reduce the occurrence of the redundant data up to some extent. Okay, so in the last class we are discussing about different types of normal forms also. So before going to that, we are already discussing about what is a functional dependency. In each and every normal form, here we try to observe so which type of functional dependencies are exist among the within the database. Okay, please try to remember this. So whenever asking the question in the exam point of view, so he is first mentioned so how many number of functional dependencies are existed. So here the functional dependency means nothing but one of the attribute uniquely identifies the another attribute. So that is the main thing. For example, if you know about the student number, then we can able to find out the what is the student name, what is the marks of the student, what is the address of the student. Am I right or not? So here before discussing about the normal forms, we should be know about what is a functional dependency and how many number of functional dependencies are existed. And here we are consider 5 normal forms. So what are the first normal form, second normal form, third normal form, and boys card normal form, the next one fourth normal form, and fifth normal form. In each and every normal form, we try to eliminate the different types of anomalies. For example, in the case of first normal form, here we are eliminating the multi-values. Okay, multi-values assigned to the single attribute. For example, what is the name of the student means, then we are maybe Mahesh, Suresh, Ramesh, Ganesh, like that. Okay, but we should not assign more than one value, okay, for single attribute. That is the main thing. And another thing, we are not accepting the null values in the first normal form. And another thing, we should be maintain the non-redundant data. So try to recover in that manner. Okay, in the last class, we were already discussing about that. Okay, so just to try to see now. Okay, so what is a normal form? What is a normalization? So I'm already explaining in the last class. Okay, first of all, we try to discuss about the what is the first noun form. So any multi-valued attributes, also called repeating groups, have been removed. So there is a single value at the intersection of each row and column of the table. So that means here we are not accepting the multi-values. For example, if you observe here, so in the last class also we are discussing the same example. For example, employee ID, okay, 1401, and employee name is Anupama, and employee section ID is 401, and employee address is Rajmandri. And if you observe the dependents, mother, comma, father. So that means these type of values are not accepted in the first noun form. Or maybe if some of the are maybe empty, so those are also not accepted. So that means each and every value should be atomic. Okay, if you're observing here, 1403 brother comma sister, 1404 father mother sister, so 1405 mother brother. So in this type of here, so each and every row or tuple having more than one value is assigned in the case of dependents. So in the case of first noun form, we should not accepting this. So each and every comma, so after the value of the comma, so that will be treated as another tuple. So how we can decomposing this table? So not decomposing, just transforming the table. Please observe this. 1401 Anupama, 401 Rajmandri, mother, one of the dependent. The same thing is repeated again, and father. Okay. So in that type of way, here we are assigning the single attribute for each and every particular field. Okay, just only we are assigning the single value. Okay, so this is nothing but referred as a first normal form. Okay, and we can divide into the two tables also. So how we can depend this? For example, if you are observe here, so if you are observe here, so only 1401 only is occurred only once. Am I right or not? So that means here we are reducing the occurrence of the redundant data in this table. Okay, so in that manner, here we are eliminating the dependents. Okay, employee ID, employee name, employee section ID, employee address is a one table, and employee ID and employee dependents, so considered as the another table. But you should be remember one thing. So when we are dividing or decomposing one table into the smaller tables, we should not occurring the loss of data. Okay, so should not occurring the loss of the data. And here we are consider another thing, so that is dependency preservation. So these two types of properties are mainly considered when we are decomposing a table into smaller tables. Okay, so that means when we are decomposing one larger table into smaller tables, we should be remember two things. So those are, one is the lossless join, and another thing, dependency preservation. So what it means, lossless join means here not occurring the loss of the data. So that means here, according to our requirement, we are break down the one table into some smaller tables. I'm right. For example, the table name is R. Okay, we are divided into the three tables, R1, R2, R3. Okay, are you understood this? So I'm considering one table, R table. Table name is R, and dividing into the three tables. What are they? R1, R2, R3. Okay. So now, if any time of the situation I want to join these three tables according to my requirement, then there is no chance of occurring the loss of data. So that is nothing but lossless join. So when we are again join these three tables, then it will be should be forming the original table. Otherwise, we should not decomposing the table into smaller tables. Okay, so that means that is the one of the property when we are decomposing the tables. This is also one of the important question. So what are the which type of rules to be followed to performing the decomposition in on which basics? So we are decomposing the table into the smaller tables. Okay, so this is the first property, lossless join. Okay, and second thing is the dependency preservation. So dependency preservation means nothing but if you are applying one condition in one table, so the same condition is applied onto the remaining tables also. So nothing but dependency preservation. So these two types of properties are should be followed before decomposing any table into the some smaller tables. Okay, here we are dividing the table into two tables according to the requirement. So that is employee ID, employee name, employee section ID, employee address. And another table is employee ID and dependents. We are observe here, some of the data is repeated. So number is repeated, employee ID is repeated. But if you are observing here, so these two are the primary key. Employee ID and dependent is the primary key. And in here, so just only employee ID is the primary key. Okay, are you understood this? So in this type of way, we are using the first normal form. So now we try to discuss about the second normal form. In the last class also we are discussing about this. So second normal form, I am already saying about this. If one of the student studying BTech second year, so then what it means, he is already completing the first year also. In the same way, if it is a second normal form, so it is already satisfying the first normal form conditions. Now try to satisfying the second normal form condition. Okay, and you understood this? So if it is a third normal form, it is already satisfying the second normal form, and next try to satisfy the third normal form conditions. Okay, so now try to observe second normal form. Here the main thing is any partial functional dependencies have been removed. In the last class also I'm explaining about that partial functional dependency. Okay, what is a functional dependency? Functional dependency is nothing but the integrity constraint that generalize the concept of a king. So that means that uniquely identifies the tuples by using one attribute. Am I right or not? Okay, but here consider two types of functional dependencies are there. So those are nothing but one is the fully functional dependency, and another one is the partial functional dependency. I think the name is implies. For example, so for any table, we are specifying some of the functional dependencies. Okay, for example, maybe we are considered like this. For example, we are considered two keys to identify the remaining attributes. For example, we are considered the student table, student number, student name, student marks. Okay, so student address. So please try to consider like this. Okay, for example, I'm considering like this. If you having the chance, please note down on this paper. Okay, student number, student name, student marks, address. I'm considering only 4 attributes. Again, I'm repeating student number, student name, marks, and address. Okay, for example, in this table, I'm giving the functional dependencies is student number comma student name functional dependency. So I added 2 remaining attributes. So what are the marks and address? So that means by using these 2 attributes, we are able to identify the student marks and student address. Okay, for example, in that manner, we are maybe following that. Okay, so what it means here, I'm specifying the functional dependencies, nothing but using 2 keys. What are they? So student number and student name. For example, if the student number can able to identify remaining attributes, marks and address, then what is the use of student name? So that means it is a partial functional dependency. So we should not allowing that type of the dependence. Okay, I think all of the members able to understood this. So that means what I'm saying is how many number of keys are specified in the functional dependency. So those type of keys should be used to find out the remaining details. Okay, we try to see today one example also. Don't try to confuse and don't try to worry about this. Okay, so a relation is said to be 2NF if it is in 1NF and every non-key attribute is fully functionally dependent on primary key attributes. Okay, so that means here, so if one of the table is in 2NF or not, how we are deciding that? So first of all, it is satisfying the 1NF. What is the meaning of 1NF? Each and every value should be atomic. Okay, and maintains the primary key also. And another thing is every non-key attribute. So what is the meaning of non-key attribute? That is not a primary key. For example, in the here, just I mentioned one table, student number, student name, marks, and address. Okay. For example, student number is the primary key. Then what are the remaining attributes? Those are non-key attributes. Okay. So that means every non-key attribute is fully functionally dependent on primary key attributes. Okay. So that is the main thing. Okay. If any one of the following condition is satisfied, then a relation is in 2NF. So that means, so if the both conditions are, so in the previous, in the above lines, mention the 2 conditions. If the 2 conditions are met, so then this table is in 2NF. Okay. So that means there should be only one attribute associated with the primary key. There must be no non-key attributes in the relation. Non-key attribute fully functionally dependent on set of the primary key attribute. Okay, so that is partial dependencies are not exist. So that means here we are try to eliminate the partial dependencies. Okay, now we try to observe here. So consider student table, student ID and class ID. Student name, course ID, time. So course student name, course ID, time are the non-key attributes. So how we can identify that? Simply by using underline or thick letters. Okay. Now if you observe here, student ID and class ID is the function primary keys. Okay. So that means what is the functional dependency here? Student ID comma class ID arrow student name course ID time. So that means student name course ID time functionally dependent on student ID and class ID. Okay. I think all of the members able to understood this. So that means here what it means, student ID and class ID is the primary key to identify the remaining details of the table. Okay, for example, if we are consider here, student ID is 00011, so 00012, 0013, 0014, and 0014. Okay, so that means here we are not able to consider the student ID is only the primary key. Why? Because here repeating the some number. In the same way, class ID. So 502, 503, 502, 504, 505. So here also we are not consider. So class ID is not a primary key. So at this time of situation, we are based upon the candidate key manner. So candidate key or sober key or composite key manner. So that means what it means. So more than one attribute will be treated as the primary key. So that's why here we are consider the primary key is student ID and class ID. So that means 000111502 is only occurred only once. Am I right or not? Okay. So in this type of way, both are used to identify the particular details. But if you are observe here, so by using student ID, we are able to find out the student name. I'm right or not? For example, so if we want to find out the names of the student by using particular number, so is it possible or not? Possible. But here what we are mentioned, so both of the keys are used to retrieve the details. But here the problem is student ID can able to find out the student name. So that's why if we can write the one query also. So for example, select student name from student where student ID equal to 00011. Then the name is Anupama. Am I right or not? So in the same way, we can find out every name. So Nagina. So next Kavya. So next Abila. So we are easily find out the names. But what we are mentioning here, student ID and class ID is the responsible for to get the details. But here we are using only student ID, not using the class ID. So that type of the dependency will be referred as a partial functional dependency. So we need to break down this table into the two tables. So how we can break down this? So please try to observe student ID, class ID, course ID, time. So is the one of the table. And here we are using the primary key is student ID and class ID. So now we try to see. So by using student ID, whether we are able to find out the course ID uniquely. So that is not possible. Why? Because for example, select course ID. Okay, select course ID from table name. Okay, where student ID equals to, for example, 00014. Then one of the thing is 4A and another thing is the 5A. So we can't find out this. So here we need to consider both of the keys to identify the details. So this is a one table. Okay, and another table is so student ID and student name. So in this type of way, we break down the one table into two tables. I think all of the members able to understood this, and I will try to use one example also from the net. From the net, I will try to explain one example. So just I'm type in the Google. Okay. So what explain the normalization in DBMS 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, and BCNF. So these are the anomalies. Okay. If I'm having the possibility, I will try to share this copy also. Okay, so this is the first normal form. We are already discussing about this. So I'm already mentioned one thing. So every day I will try to explain only one normal form. So we will try to practice on the only one normal form. Okay, then in the last class, at the end of this chapter, so we will try to discuss some problems on these normal forms also. Okay, so in which type of way asking the questions in the normal forms. Okay, so how to we are answer this. So we'll try to discuss about all these things. Okay. So for example, what is the first normal form? So as per the rule first normal form, an attribute of a table cannot hold multiple values. It should hold only atomic values. Suppose a company wants to store names, contact details of the employees. It creates the tables that looks like this. For example, maybe one table is like this. So employee ID. So employee ID is unique, no problem. Employee name is unique, so no problem. Employee address, okay, no problem. But if you're observing here, employee mobile. So employee mobile for 102, assign two numbers here. Sorry, observe this. In the same way, 104 also having two numbers. But here the problem is we should not assign more than one value for a single attribute. So here, so we need to convert into another tuple. So how we can convert into this? So please observe this. So 101 having one number, at the same time 102 having the two numbers, but we try to write two times. Okay. In the same way, 103 having one number, 104 having two numbers. In that manner, we are consider the atomic values. So that means we should be consider only one value for one attribute, and we are not accepting the null values. Okay, so that is nothing but a first normal form. So now we try to discuss about the second normal form. A table is said to be second normal form if both of the following conditions hold. So one is table is in first NF. And second thing, no non-prime attribute is dependent on proper subset of any candidate key of the table. So in the word or in just I'm seeing here. So if you are observe here, so what we are giving the definition for to this. So every key attribute is fully functional dependent on primary key attribute. But here mentioned candidate key. So what is the meaning of candidate key? So more than one attribute. Okay, so no non-prime attribute is depend on the proper subset of any candidate key of the table. So that means if it is a key, so we should be using the total keys. Okay, we should not using the subset of the keys. Okay, an attribute that is not a part of any candidate key is known as a non-prime attribute. Suppose a school wants to store the data of teachers and subjects they create the table looks like this. Since the teacher can teach more than one subject, so one teacher can handle more than one subject. For example, I'm handling the subject DBMS. At the same time, maybe I'm handling the subject either maybe operating system or Unix or something, some other subject or AI like that. Okay. So for example, the table is like this: teacher ID, subject, and teacher age. So teacher ID is 111. So he is teaching maths, and his age is 38. The same person teaching another subject, then subject is physics, and age is not different and ID is not different. Am I right or not? So if you are observe here, for every table, we should be mention the uh, attributes like this. So that means candidate keys, what are the candidate keys? So what are the key attributes and what are the non-key attributes? Okay, in this table, key attribute is what is the key attribute? For example, whether we are consider the teacher ID is the primary key, that is not possible. So whether we are able to consider the subject is the primary key. For example, if it is a primary key, so then it is uniquely identifies the data. So may not be the chance. I'm right or not. In the same way, teacher age is also we are not considered. So that's why here we try to consider both of the attributes. So those are teacher ID and subject is identifying the remaining attributes. So 111 maths. Okay. So at this time of situation, table is in 1NF because each attribute has atomic values. However, it is not in 2NF because non-prime attribute teacher age is depend on teacher ID. For example, by using teacher ID, we can find out the teacher age. Am I right or not? So by using teacher ID, so we are able to find out the teacher age. Then we are not using the subject here. Okay, so that means we are not using the total keys of the candidate key to find out the non-key attributes. So please try to understood this. So here, what are the candidate keys? Teacher ID and subject. But here we are using only teacher ID to find out the teacher age. Is it possible or not? So for example, select teacher age from teacher. So where teacher ID is equal to 111. So then we can easily find out the age of the teacher. So if you are giving 222 38, if you are giving the 333 40, so then there is no need for to using the subject. Am I right or not? So that's why we need to decomposing this table. Why? Because here we are specifying that functional dependency. Okay. I hope all of the members able to understood this. Okay. Uh, okay. So then this table is divided into the two tables. So how we can convert this? So teacher ID subject is one table and teacher ID and teacher age is divided into the another table. Then so 311 maths, 311 physics. So 322 biology, 333 physics, 333 chemistry is one table. In next case, teacher ID and teacher age, 311 38, 322 38, and 333 40. Please try to see this. I think the same example is we are already discussed in the last class. So I will try to explain one example. I will try to say one example. Please stay. Please try to wait for some time. Just please try to wait. Okay, I hope all of the members able to see the white book. So now I try to write one example for to the second normal form. So please try to understood this example. So if you not understood this, don't worry. So I will try to share one video also. Okay, now we try to discuss about the second normal form. Am I right? Second normal form. So what is the first rule? It should be satisfying the rules of 1NF. What is the rules of 1NF? So what is the rules of 1NF? So that is, so nothing but we are not accepting the multiple values for a single attribute. So that is already satisfied. The second thing is every non-key attribute. Every non-key attribute. Every non-key attribute is fully functionally dependent on any key of the relation. So this is the definition. Any key of the relation. So why I am mentioning any key? So that means whether it is a primary key or candidate key or sober key, whatever it may be. So please try to understood this definition. So satisfying the first enough, that is the first one. And second thing is every non-key attribute is fully functionally dependent on any key of the relation. Okay, for example, now we try to consider one example. So here I am consider one table. The table name is R. Okay, here I am considering some columns also. R of A, B, C, D, E. For example, I am consider the table is like this. What it means? The table name is R. Okay, and what are the columns for this table? So these are the columns for this table. Okay, so I'm consider one table. So in that table, the table name is R and column names are A, B, C, D, E. Okay, now, so for example, here I'm mentioning the functional dependency. So what is the functional dependency? I'm already saying about that. What is the functional dependency? Okay, so functional dependency means nothing but it is a one of the concept of the integrity constraint, generalize the concept of a key. Okay, from the above table here I'm mentioning the functional dependencies are like this. For example, if you know about the A, we can find out B, C, D, and E. Okay, if you know about another functional dependency, if you know about B, C, so we can able to find out the A, D, E. Okay, so now here I'm writing another one. So functional dependency, that is, for example, here, if you know about the C, we can find out the E. So then what it means here, from the above dependencies, we can find out the what are the keys. So here, what are the key attributes, keys? What are the keys from the above example? A is one key and BC is another key. How we can say this? So how we are, what is the key? By using key, we can uniquely identify the data. Am I right or not? So how many number of columns key are? 5. So what are the A, B, C, D, E? Am right? So by using A, we can find out remaining 4 attributes. Am right? So in the same way, by using BC, we can find out remaining 3 attributes. But here you are using C is able to identifying the E. Am right? So C is able to identifying the E. But here, if you are observe here, C is the part of the key. So here we are mentioned BC is a key, but here we are using part of the key. So if you are using part of the key, what it means? So it is a partial functional dependency. So we try to use non-keys also or non-key attributes. What are the non-key attributes here? So D and E. But here, if you are observe here, so part of the key is used to identifying some other attribute. So this type of dependency will be referred to as, please just wait. This type of keys. So here, what I'm writing the dependencies here. So by using A, I can find out the B, C, D, E. So by using BC, so I can find out the A, D, E. So by using C, I can find out the E. So actual, what is the table here? So R of A, B, C, D, E. Am right? Okay. Now here occurring the problem. So here we are consider the fully functional dependency, and another one is the partial functional dependency. So what is the meaning of partial functional dependency and fully functional dependency? If we are using total set of keys, if we are using total set of keys to find out the data, to find out the data, so that is nothing but fully functional dependency. If you are using subset of the key, if you are using subset of the key is used to find out the data. If subset of key is also enough to finding the data, then the type of dependency will be referred as a partial functional dependency. So here occurring the problem it is. So why? Because here we are mentioned the keys is A and BC. These are the keys. Am right or not? So A, comma BC are the keys, but C is part of the key. Okay, actually BC is key, but here we are using only C is the part of the key. So that's why here the table R of A, B, C, D, E can be divided into the two parts here. So that is one is R1 and another one is R2. So you don't try to get confused how we can divide the table. So where is the problem is occurred? So that will be divided into the table. So where is the problem is occurred? So here. Am right or not? So that's why that will be divided into the one table now. Okay. Now we try to consider remaining attributes. Okay. So what are the remaining attributes? A, B, C, okay, D. Okay. So now what are the dependencies here? So A can find out the BCD. So BC can find out the AD. Am right or not? So that means these two are fully functional dependency. So in the same way here, if you know about the C, then we can find out the E also. But here the C can be used to join these two tables. So that means nothing but lossless join. So in the first session, I'm saying about that. So when we are decomposing one table into some smaller tables, we should be remember two properties. What are they? So one is the lossless join and another one is the dependency preservation. Here not occurring the lossless join. Why? Because if we want to join these two tables again, then we can get the data of E. Am right? So in this manner, we are dividing the table into smaller tables, and this is the best example for second normal form. So I will try to explain again. Please try to understood this. Don't try to get confused. Here I am considering initially one table. So that table is R of A, B, C, D, E, and consider the dependencies are like this. So these are the dependencies. So A can find out B, C, D, E, BC can find out A, D, E. So C can find out the E. But if we are observe here, according to the functional dependencies, so we are easily guess. So these two are the keys. A and BC are the keys. Why? Because here A is find out remaining attributes in a table, and BC can find out the remaining attributes in a table. But C is only finding only one attribute, and C is one of the key. Why? Because here BC is key. Now we are using part of the key. If you are using subset of the keys to find out the data, so the type of data is, the type of dependency is partial functional dependency. So the main intention of second normal form is to eliminating the partial functional dependencies. So then we can divide this table into the two tables. So that is R of ABCDE can be divided into the two tables. So where is occurring the problem? Here occurring the problem. So that will be divided into a one table. So that is CA. Now remaining attributes treated as another table. Okay, I hope all of the members able to understood this. Okay, if you having any type of the doubts, don't worry about this. I will try to discuss tomorrow also. Okay, if you having any type of the doubts, you can ask me now. If you having any type of the doubts, you can contact me personally also. Okay, my session tomorrow, in the tomorrow session we will try to discuss about the third normal form. Okay, so every day we will try to discuss with only one normal form. So then we are having the clear idea. I hope all of the members able to understood. So what is the first normal form and what is the second normal form? But remember one thing. So in the exam point of view, example is most important. So why? Because second normal form definition is in only 2 lines. Okay, but the example is main important. So you try to first you try to explain the concept. Next you try to give the one example. Next you try to explain that example. Okay, so in this session I am explaining about what is a fully functional dependency and what is a partial functional dependency. Okay, I hope all of the members able to understood. If you having any type of the doubts, you can ask me now. So otherwise I will end the session today. End my session now. If you want to note down this, please note down into your books this example. If you want to note down this, please note down. I will try to share this photo also in the group. Don't worry about that. If you want to note down this, please note down. So otherwise I will try to share this screen photo also in the group. End my session now. If you having any type of the doubts, still you having any type of the doubts, you can contact me. And another thing, today I will give you first assignment. So that means from the 2.5 units, I will give you 5 questions. Okay, that is the first assignment. So and you try to submit within the 1 week. Okay, I will post that assignment at the time of I think today, before today evening. Okay, before 5 o'clock today. So I will give you the first assignment also. Okay, so now end my session. Don't worry about this. If you note down anyone, so I will try to share this photo in our group. Okay, thank you one and all. Now end my session. Thank you all of you. Have a nice day. Take care.